What's up, everyone? Kevin Allen here, aka The Geek. And we are back with another showdown breakdown, taking a look at the Rams hosting the Bears. Monday Night Football. It's going to be gross. 44-point total. the Rams are coming in here as 5-point home favorites. So let's take a look at this overall game because it looks like it's going to be pretty gross. And then I want to go over some exciting things. Actually, before we get into the game, we'll get there. I want to actually talk for a minute about the awesome Sunday of NFL football we had over in DFS Army. It was one of our, just like one of those weeks that's like one of the greatest weeks of the year. So I hope that all of you who are watching this had an awesome week. We pivoted over to Deontay Johnson, which was great. We loaded up on Kyler Murray, and we had Devontae Adams, and we picked the right trio of running backs. So, yeah, Lockett over Metcalf. Hell yeah. I mean, that was just one of the best plays I think I've ever called. Ask me how it turned out. Fanduel was just fine. I didn't end up winning the million. I was in first place for the million for a bit, but I fell off when Kansas City defense went off for 28 points. That's okay. Not that easy to beat out 675,000 other people. But I mean, this weekend was just banner, guys. I'm going to pop some stuff up on the screen here because I want to tout these guys. I want to acknowledge some of the awesomeness that you guys did. So just check this out. Bear with me for a couple minutes. I'm going to pop some of this on the screen here. I just want to show some of this. Ampelan, new member of DFS Army. Thanks, guys, for the lineup builder. Second week using it. 16K on $80. Are you fucking kidding me? Is this my lineup? Where the fuck did you have it? Harrison Bryant. Remember Harrison Bryant? We talked about him on the Players Club. Called him Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai because he looks like Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai. Awesome fucking lineup, man. What did it score? 274. This borderline, I mean, this lineup is so good. 274. Are you kidding me? And here's one of the things I do in DFS Army Slack. I like to go to the winning lineups page, right? Here's my win, 20K. Not a bad day. That's a 264.5. Yeah, you don't watch the Players Club, you get what you deserve, my man. Come on. You should know better. Should not play if you can't have the Players Club. 20K for me. All right, no big deal, Kevin. You do that shit, whatever. 32K overall, 31.5 overall. Not a bad day. I want to acknowledge, just other really great wins. NFHS 04, been with us forever, taking down sweet contests. Skillful Rob Bass. I was going to play a song for this. A Rob Bass song. I want to rock right now. I'm Rob Bass and I want to get down. I was going to do it because Skillful Rob Bass after 20K last week comes in second. Another 10K. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Players Club, man. Come on. It's on Saturday afternoon every week. Skillful Rob Bass, another 10K. I'm going to rock right now. I can't play that shit because that is like one of those Vivo videos that if I play it during a live stream, YouTube's going to kick me off like as if I was spreading coronavirus conspiracy theories. Like you'd be gone in 2 seconds. Check this out. Sir Chosen. Guy just fucking prints cash every week. These are just great wins. I love them all. Big and small. Everything. G Money fucking second place. What? Oh, that's PGA. I don't take responsibility for that. Get out of here with your golf. But good win, G Money. All right, anyway, lots of this, tons of it in my channel. It was an awesome, glorious week. I hope everybody I mean, look at this. Just out of nowhere, everybody's got a great lineup, like just the same lineup. Look at this is a cash game approach, Bread Slinger. He's fucking slinging bread. He's literally slinging bread. He's fucking putting the same entry 60 times in the quintuple up. That's how you make money at DFS. The same $2 entry in the quint 100 times. $1,000. That's how you do it. All right, so I wanted to acknowledge that because it's fucking awesome. And the messages I'm getting in my DMs are crazy good. Thank you all. Thank you all for having the trust in me and us to make your NFL DFS season more fun, more profitable, more exciting. You might bust out a rap song every once in a while, freestyle too. Like crazy shit happens over here. You never know. You never know. We talk about Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai being the starting tight end. For the Browns, the guy catches 2 touchdowns. I was just expecting him to maybe hopefully get not a 0. I didn't expect 2 touchdowns. Even Michael Tessari, $400 across the Thrive Fantasy Bankroll and FanDuel, $10. He's at $350. $10 to $350. That's crazy. So really awesome stuff. Now, all that positivity, we're going to take it away because this is a really gross showdown. It's not that easy. It's like, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're even talking about, like, Shark Chronicles talking about Jeff Wilson Jr. puts up 31. If anybody played him, love the Shark Chronicles. If you're going to play the Millie Maker, that's what you want to be on. Those kind of off-the-wall Jeff Wilson Jr. plays that put up 31 points. All right, let's get into this game, though. We're talking Rams. We're talking Bears. It's a gross game. So the first thing I always look at is our power rankings. This tool shows you the projected running yards, passing yards, and scoring for either team based on factors, averages, all kinds. I don't want to explain it. I explained it a million times. This is what we are projecting for each team. So Chicago, it does not look good here, guys. It doesn't look good. 96 rushing yards, 190 passing yards, a very gross 286 total yards for this. Not good. It's not good. It's red. Okay, Rams, not much better. 130 rushing yards, 238 passing yards, 21 points. This seems about right. Okay, so these numbers are what we should expect. What does it mean? We're going to get a gross slate tonight. So, of course, that seems easy. We're going to dive in a little bit deeper. We've got our props finder tool here. We're going to check out what we can hopefully expect from some of these running backs. We'll get to that in a second. In our matchups tool here, we can just get a look. I always use this. Really, really important. To get just an idea of rushing percentages last week, previous week, on the season, passing yardage. So let's just go through this real quick for both teams. I think these numbers are very important. So on the Chicago side, Allen Robinson, 29% target share, down a little bit to 25% last week. I think this will regress to the mean a little bit more. This will go up to 30. On the flip side, Jimmy Graham, 15% on the season, a little bit more last week. His price jacked up to an ungodly level for this showdown, especially on DraftKings. Do not trust it. I don't trust it. I think that Graham has been doing better with Foles and technically has a good matchup, so we could play it. And if salary doesn't matter, sure. But Jimmy Graham at his 7,200 is crazy, and I would expect him to go more back to the 15% level of his target share. The other names that are getting targets, Darnell Mooney, underpriced, getting lots of looks, not catching them, but he's a guy we have to pay attention to. Also, and this is probably the most important, David Montgomery pretty much getting everything for his team. 73% of the rushes, 85% of the snaps, even a 14% target share, so just as much as anybody else. This is pretty much our guy. The problem with David Montgomery, it's a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for everybody. Doesn't matter. It's a terrible matchup for Montgomery against the Rams. Montgomery he does not pass the eye test. Whatever that means, I don't consider myself a talent judge, like where I can watch tape and be like, oh, this guy's good or this guy's not good because I'm some talent evaluator. I don't fucking know. But I mean, if there was ever somebody who doesn't pass the eye test, this guy just doesn't look that good. I can't tell, but he doesn't look that good to me. Every once in a while, like in Evan Ingram, I remember him dropping passes all the time, even years ago. And I'd be like, man, I get that he's getting a lot of looks, man, but this guy seems like he sucks. But I don't know. Anyway, it's important to note these percentages. So Darnell Mooney, Anthony Miller still hanging around, makes for an interesting tournament play on the slate. And on the Ram side, it's a lot of names, right? So we have to go through these. Van Jefferson, the target and percentage and snap count went down massively last week, right? In favor of Josh Reynolds. So it's just, I just want to pay attention to it. Looks like Josh Reynolds is the real WR3 for this team. When we look at the running back position, Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown are in more of a split than I think people are acknowledging. And I think that's important to note. I think it's also important to note when we look at these two running backs that it's Malcolm Brown at least getting the targets, whereas Darrell Henderson is getting a big nothing burger. So Darrell Henderson gonna rush the football and maybe have a little bit of an advantage there. But Malcolm Brown looks like he's getting the passing game targets, and Cam Akers appears to have drifted into afterthought territory. Now, that being said, who the fuck knows what they're going to do this week? All of a sudden, Cam Akers could come out and get a lot of looks out of nowhere. We don't know. So, if we're going by what's been happening, I actually think Malcolm Brown is maybe the best play of these guys because he's going to get some target share work. But if we think that Rams defense is dominating this game, which could definitely happen, and they're playing ahead, then maybe it's Darrell Henderson in the hold on to the lead smash mouth part of the game. I don't think that style of play is going to work that well against Chicago, but maybe it will. Right? Steve is mentioning, oh my gosh, look at this. Up 5K, started the year with 200. I gotta do this. I mean, this is fucking awesome, Michael. All custom. It is not because of me. I just want to point out, it is. I don't make your lineup ever. I don't pull the trigger for you. Don't blame me when you lose. That's all I'm saying. Don't blame me when you lose. But listen, we're here. We're doing tools. We're breaking down these games, and then you use your talent, your thoughts, your ideas. Put your lineups together. You pull the trigger. It is not because of me. It's all because of you. So you're crushing it. I love it, and I just want to see more of that. I really do. I want to see everybody just having success. So I love it. I love the screenshots. And a week like this, it's just spectacular. All right. So getting back into this, let's actually dive into showdown-specific notes for DraftKings. We'll go team by team here. We'll go position by position on DraftKings. And then we'll talk a little FanDuel afterwards because the salaries are a little bit different. So again, we already kind of laid out the situation with these players. We'll start with the Rams. Now, according to Josh's notes, and this was a very interesting thing that he uncovered, every week outside of 2 this season, Jared Goff has outscored all of his position players individually, meaning that Jared Goff is the rare situation, and I want to verify because that seems nuts. All right, so he's got a 28-point game, ran for a touchdown, a 31-point game, ran for a touchdown, right? Two shit games, a 23-point game, and an 11. If we look at the individual pieces, yeah, I mean, here's that one game where it was close, but it looks like Goff has outscored Kupp pretty much almost every time. With Woods hasn't. Yeah, I mean, Goff's been outscoring him as well. So it is interesting that the quarterback here has actually outscored a lot of his position players almost every week. I think Darrell Henderson had those 2 good weeks. It was these weeks when Goff did really bad. So if we look at the weeks that Henderson did well, week 5, week 3, and week 2, let's see which weeks Goff did poorly. I'm not sure. No, 5, 3, and 2. Really? Wait a minute. 5, 3, and 2. Goff smashed. 5, 3, and 2. Henderson smashed. The fuck is that? That's weird. Unexpected. Oh, receiving touchdowns. I guess they were throwing to him. No. Yeah, he caught a touchdown, one of them, but the other ones, all right. Well, there it is. It looks like those weeks were just high-scoring games. That's why. Okay, so that makes more sense. In crazy high-scoring games, they were actually able to excel together. Really interesting. But anyway, Josh has it so that Jared Goff has outscored his position players. Oh, that's Magnum Mike. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, hell yeah. Gonna see it. We'll see it. All right. So Goff has been doing really well. So he's a prime choice for captain. He's a prime choice for MVP on DraftKings. Again, it's a gross slate. He's clearly the highest floor play. He's got the highest projection. If you look at the actual projection, 18.6, his projection is a little bit higher than everybody else's. Great. Fine. Now, the second possibility here for we'll just go through team by team. So beyond Goff, we'll do the Rams first. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, both can go off at any time. Both really good players. Cooper Kupp has one sort of tournament-winning level performance so far this season. but getting a lot of looks. Robert Woods, I think, has one or two really good games. Actually, he's been consistent. Hasn't had that monster game yet, but he's been pretty consistent. The whole Rams offense really has leaned much more run heavy this year than they have in the past. They were a high flying team for a bit, but they've really leaned on the run. But again, it is nice that Kupp and Woods do get most of the targets, and they appear to both do pretty well together. In this matchup this week in particular, Kupp has the better matchup. He will be in the slot against Buster Skrine, used to former Jet. Good slot man, but not elite. Buster Skrine. Whereas Robert Woods will have elite coverage on the outside. Kyle Fuller, for the most part, is very, very good. So Cooper Kupp has the better matchup of these two. And actually, I would say the better matchup of the three if we throw in Josh Reynolds, who will be going up against a rookie cornerback whose name I forget, but who's also very, very good and has been just I'm not going to say elite shutdown, can't play anyone against him, but Josh Reynolds is mediocre enough as a wide receiver to where a pretty good corner should be able to, limit his upside a little bit. We're going to have a lot of that in this game because it's a good defensive game. I don't think anybody's going off. I really don't. But let's continue through this grouping. Darrell Henderson's priced up, almost absurd for a guy who doesn't get any passing game work on DraftKings. He could still do it. He's done it a couple times this year. But as you saw in the breakdown before, if you're playing Darrell Henderson Jr., don't load up on him. Yeah, Jalen Johnson, man, thank you. This is great. I love having you guys out there. Yes, and he's been very good. Jalen Johnson, great stuff, man. Great stuff. Who's covering the TE? The T is going to be open. The TE, there's so let's get into this. Darrell Henderson, he only runs the football half the time. Does not really get much passing game work. So for him to get there, he needs to score multiple touchdowns. Let's use the prop finder. Okay, the prop finder says 53 yards, borderline no receiving yards, about 53 yards total rushing, and under a 50% chance of a touchdown. Less than 50, 48. So if he gets you 55 yards and a touchdown, let's say this all hits, we're talking, and one reception, we're talking about 13 fantasy points. It is definitely not a lock. Kyle Fuller or Johnson will be on Woods, by the way, and both of them are really good. Woods is a very good wide receiver too. It doesn't mean we can't play him. It just means he's going to be covered by guys who are very good, and that should limit his upside. Like, he's got a lower chance of having a great game. And somebody was asking about a season-long question. Maybe this will answer it. We'll get to the Allen Robinson side. But as you see here, this guy, just okay. His upside, his mean projection should be about 12 to 13 fantasy points based on these props. Actually, I'll say a little bit less. I'm going to say about 11 fantasy points based on these props, which isn't great. And the problem is there's not that much upside because he's not catching passes. And he's going up against the Bears, who are a good defense against the run. Not the best defense in the league against the run. They're even better versus the pass, but they're good versus the run. Actually, you do your best damage. And if you look at the power rankings, it does say pretty much attack Chicago via running back. So the Rams' best path to scoring, to moving the football, and the most likely thing they're going to be doing is running the ball heavily. But that brings me to the other player that I'm actually very interested in. Where are we? Which is Malcolm Brown. Now, the difference between Brown and Henderson is Brown is getting the passing game. Now, don't ask me why. I don't know why it's Brown and Henderson. And this is what's so weird about the Rams. That could just change. That could just change one day. And like this weekend, like, oh yeah, no, now we throw it to Henderson. Like, that could totally happen. Or Cam Akers could just emerge and be the guy. So it's a really weird situation with these three running backs. But if we go by the matchups tool from last week, it'll say, all right, well, Brown was out there, 45% of the snaps for running back, and he got 11% of the targets, and he got only 11% of the rushes, but he was there for 45% of the time. So they were bringing in Brown on passing downs. They throw to him a little bit. Henderson, while he only got a 55% snap count, he got 75% of the actual rushing carry. So he does seem to be the guy. So we'll see if we can fit him in there. And I kind of like the idea of pairing Henderson with Rams defense, because I think if Rams defense is smashing, that's when Henderson has his best game. But just be aware, he does not seem to catch passes, or he hasn't been. 6% on the season. So it could go up, but right now it's down. And oddly, you know who else hasn't been catching any passes? Cam Akers. I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing. He's just there. He doesn't do anything. Cam Akers, afterthought. I'd much rather play Malcolm Brown. All right, so getting back to this team, there's not that much else going on. We have the tight ends, Higbee and Everett. Now, Higbee's priced up a little bit. He's got a hand injury. I don't know what to do with that. He's questionable. Can he really pass catches if he's got a busted hand? You know, we need a little more information, but I don't like playing pass catchers that have a hand injury. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the exact details of the injury, but let's watch this situation very carefully, because if Higbee is out, yeah, man, Nicola, you're going to kill me. If Higbee is out, and I'm going to acknowledge your comments in a second, guys, then Gerald Everett becomes probably the best play on the entire slate. Like, if Higbee was out, I would say Gerald Everett is like the best play on the whole thing, because he'll have the easiest matchup. The tight end matchup against Chicago is better than the wide receiver matchups by far. And anytime one of these two guys is out, the other one seems to eat. So, yeah, I would love Everett if Higbee is out. And if we believe that Higbee's hand will cause him not to be... All right, Coach Sean McVay has been adamant Higbee will play Monday. It's possible Higbee could primarily be used as a blocker and pass catching responsibilities to Everett. So let's believe that for a second. This guy's got a busted hand. Then we want to play some Everett here. And maybe Everett even makes our cash game grouping. He's not cheap, 4,800, it's still expensive, but he's been getting lots of looks. And again, let's go back to the matchups tool, so we'll see if we have both of these guys in there. Yeah, so Everett, target percentage. Let's see where Higbee is. Everett and Higbee. Higbee has been more snaps, but the target percentages were about the same at least last week. Nothing great, 11-11. But could you imagine if one guy got all those targets? It'd be 22%. It'd be the best play on the team. That's what I'm saying. If you combine the 11 and 11 that Everett and Higbee are splitting, and they all go to one guy because the other guy got a busted hand, I don't know that that's for sure. I don't know for sure, but if Higbee's busted hand, if he's wearing a fucking, like one of those claw thingies, like wrapped around in like a boot, you never seen that, where your hand is all busted and they put it in a club for offensive linemen and defensive linemen? If he's wearing that, he can't catch a pass. Then he's just going to be blocking. Wow, that was the worst misread of the entire preseason, loading up on Higbee as an elite tight end. Seems like neither of these guys do that when both are there. Yeah, I love all this, man. Keep that stuff coming. Good to see you doing well, Awesomer. Now, Nicolo, do I want to stack Malcolm Brown and Henderson in GPP? I'm not going to tell you not to. Let's put it that way. I think this is the kind of game that could be so low scoring, especially on the Bears side, where it might take a 10-point game from Henderson and a 9-pointer from Brown, and that's the nuts. Like, you don't always have to get a 25 on a showdown. All you need is the guys that score the most on the showdown, right? So our world of comparison isn't, Tyler Lockett putting up 50 and Kyler Murray. No, we're dealing with a bunch of fucking shitty ass players on a team with a shitty ass projection, good defenses. No one's putting up 30 points. Don't need a 30. So yeah, don't make too many crazy rules for this one. We'll get into that. All right, let's take a look at, like, we're going to allow both kickers. We're not going to make crazy rules on this one because weird shit can win this, because I don't think the winning lineup will have monster scores in it. Now, let's take a look at the opposite side of this game. We've got the Bears. Allen Robinson, top dog in this offense, of course. He will be covered by Jalen Ramsey, one of the best cornerbacks in the league when he's on his game. What that means is Allen Robinson, for all of his crazy target share, is in a very bad matchup. Number one, again, Nick Foles, not the best at eluding pressure. He's kind of a statue back there. I think he's probably better than Trubisky, but he's pretty statuesque against the pressure defense. So that's not already bodes poorly for the pass offense of the Bears. And then you add in, again, Robinson going to be blanketed by Jalen Ramsey. Doesn't mean he won't catch passes, but we could get one of these. Five receptions, 50 yards, 10 points. You're kind of going to feel like, wow, I paid up here and maybe I didn't get my money's worth. He could beat him. He could have one big play, 15 fantasy points, and be the biggest scorer on this entire slate. That could totally happen. But just understand the matchup. He's going up against pretty much the best corner or one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League in Jalen Ramsey, and a guy who rarely gets burned bad. So if Allen Robinson has a good day, it's because of volume and just a lot of receptions or a broken play. It probably won't be him out there just going crazy, doing his thing. Now, if we assume that Jalen Ramsey is very good and he can stop this guy, we have to take a look at the alternate pass catchers for this Bears team. Number one, that's Darnell Mooney. Has done nothing, but he's out there all of the plays. The coaching staff likes him, and it's just a matter of time before he has a good game. Darnell Mooney, 4,400. Again, matchups tool. Darnell Mooney, where is he? 67% of the snaps, 14% target share. I mean, he's out there a lot. The other guy is Anthony Miller. Miller, about a 55% guy, super cheap. Again, I don't think that salary is much of an issue on the slate, but I mean, he's cheap and he is a starting player, has not had a good game really in a while, but that could happen at any time. And again, this is the kind of game where targets should go away from Allen Robinson a little bit. And also, I expect that the Bears are playing from behind. They're going to be throwing a lot. They already normally throw a lot, but they'll be throwing a lot. I don't think they'll have a lot of success throwing. They're a bad team. And they're not a bad team. I'm sorry, Bears fan. They're in a bad matchup. They're a bad offensive team for all intents and purposes that can win games with their defense. And by the way, they might be able to, that might happen. This might just be a close, low-scoring game. The Bears could win it. But they're not probably going to go off on a fantasy points bonanza along the way. The turds for the Bears, I don't even know if you need to mess with them. Cole Kmet is the backup tight end. He's a turd. What? He's what? Where are my turds at? All right, guys. I got you. We're in the turd zone. Let's talk about some turds. Where are my turds at? All right, I got some turds for you. Cole Kmet, Demetrius Harris, Teddy Ginn Jr., Cordero Patterson. This is the grouping. They're all really gross. Get if you're making 150, get a little bit of exposure. That's all we can say. 3-4% exposure. Each of these guys are garbage, but any one of them could have a splash play. Cordero Patterson can run back a touchdown, get you 7 points. Do something. Cordero's probably the best of the turds. Cole Kmet, he gets a couple targets, each game. The one guy I haven't mentioned yet, Jimmy Graham, grossly overpriced Jimmy Graham, but he's been doing well under the Nick Foles regime. You can't deny it. 8 targets, 10 targets, 5-5. He's looked good. He's just been doing well. And while the price does not match the projection, who cares? You can afford whatever you want on this slate. There's no stud that you need to pay for. I think of the entire Chicago team, David Montgomery is in the best of all spots because he's getting all the looks. He's getting a bunch of targets. He's a must play in cash, even in a bad matchup. After Montgomery, I would go Robinson, still very playable, Nick Foles, Mooney, any of these turds, and definitely the kicker. R.C. Brenneman wants me to drink warm beer through a beer bong. This, first of all, you put your blue moon on ice, bro. But maybe what you're saying is true. I'm going to ask the turd detector if warm blue moon is a thing that I should try. Turd detector, what do you say?
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Listen.
Warm beer. Go back to fucking England. Brenomenon. Go back to fucking England. The pub with the warm beer. Not here. Not now. Not on my watch. No. All right. Let's take a look at the Fanduel. Let's take a look at the cheat sheet actually real quick. So, I mean, the cheat sheet agrees with a lot of what I'm saying. Goff, primary guy. Allen Robinson, certainly a candidate for your captain, for your MVP position. He's a candidate. But again, great receiver, all these good things, yada, yada, yada. But he's going to be covered by Jalen Ramsey. So it's a little scary to run Allen Robinson as your captain MVP. He'll be popular. 15%. Nick Foles. Is Foles going to have a good fucking game? I can't even imagine it. If Foles is having a good game, trust me, one of his wide receivers is having a better game. You got to trust to dominate, man. Harrison, let me tell you one thing. Sometimes it's best to let Jesus take the wheel. Let's let Jesus take the wheel. You got this. I'm here for the ride. Domination Station, Jesus. Cooper Kupp, I love him as a captain play. Again, best matchup of the wide receiver core for the Rams. That's really, really important. You know that I like to play wide receivers at captain. I don't think it always wins. Like, just play wide receivers. Even last night I break my rule. I'm like, you know what? Kyler Murray, he's so fucking good. I don't even need these wide receivers. I played some wide receivers. I even played Chase Edmonds at captain on DraftKings. But on FanDuel, I was like, I'm going all in on Kyler Murray. And of course, Tyler Lockett has the game of the century and outscores him. Like, impossible. But that's what it took for Tyler Lockett to be the captain. Like, just catching every touchdown. Yes, he propelled me to 20K win. Yes, he propelled me to another 5K win. I was very appreciative of Tyler Lockett. But in my showdown lineup, I did not play Tyler Lockett. On FanDuel, I only played Kyler Murray. And, you know, it was good enough, but not good enough. So your wide receivers can get there more often than not on DraftKings. Cooper Kupp, I prefer him to Robert Woods. And David Montgomery, very, very playable here. Again, all of these are gross. And I agree with Josh that Jared Goff or the QBs who I never play as MVP almost ever or captain almost ever on DraftKings are worth a sniff. And again, when we're putting our lineup together, you probably only need one of these turds in it. You could pick one. I feel like the best of them might be Anthony Miller or Cordero Patterson. Just like some crazy long shot. But maybe I don't really consider Brown a turd. I really like Brown. So, like, if we're making a lineup here, and let's say we want to just go a little chalky with, with our captain spot. I'm even call this like a cashy kind of a lineup, right? If I'm kind of building a cash lineup, I think you've got to have Jared Goff. You've got to have Montgomery in it. You probably want to have this pay down option of Malcolm Brown in it that's got 7,500 left. If we throw a favored kicker in there, trust the Sloman Shield. Wait. What the fuck is this? Will not play in Monday's contest. No Kai Forbat. There we go. Sam Sloman. Hill from Ireland with the turd videos. Wait, what? Hill from New Orleans? Oh, you saw Taysom. There we go. Dude, we have a contest going. Wait a minute. This is so awesome. We have a contest going on to tell me who the turds are in the turd video. Okay? And Taysom Hill is one of them. Everybody in that video is someone who has won a showdown as a turd, just so you know. Every single face is a turd. All right, that has won us a showdown. No one has been able to get me the whole list. All right, is Graham priced up on DraftKings? Yes. So here's Jimmy Graham. I kind of like Jimmy Graham. He's priced up ridiculous. He's got the same target share as Anthony Miller for a lot more money. There are all these reasons not to like him, but I don't hate the matchup. And Nick Foles seems to like the guy. So, like, I don't mind it. I don't think I can do it in cash. I'm not going there. I might go in cash games. I might go, I definitely, I might go something like this with Brown. I might go Henderson and Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. It's very hard. It's a hard week for cash, guys. I'm sorry. It's fucking hard. You can go Robinson with the last spot. I could just put Foles in there, get the quarterback in, get the quarterback. I think you do have to do that. Just play the quarterback. I know he sucks. Play him. Or just don't play cash and don't play this fucking one. That's okay too. This is a tough one. All right. Let's take a look at FanDuel real quick. Of course, here's the Monday Million contest. We'll take a look at some of these salary levels. And again, on FanDuel, we do want to favor the quarterback, and Jared Goff will be the absolute preferred captain, MVP. Although I can make an argument for David Montgomery here. Not a great one, but an argument. I can make an argument for even Henderson Jr. if he catches a bunch of touchdowns in this game. And that's about it. But it's probably going to be Goff. That's your cash game guy anyway. You get Montgomery in here. Again, bad matchup. Doesn't matter. Probably get Henderson, the touchdown scorer, or Brown. One of these two. And then you're left with one more spot. You want to throw Mitch Trubisky in there just in case he gets the start over Foles? I wouldn't do that. Doesn't seem very smart. I think you got to play Foles here. Where is Foles? I think you got to do this in cash. Montgomery, Foles, maybe Henderson, and then just fill it out with some other garbage player. That's probably how you have to do it. If I don't play Henderson Jr., which I think you should, I kind of think you should on FanDuel. If you didn't do that, you could probably find some other way. But I think you got to get the running backs in there, the quarterbacks in there, and then just throw in one last guy. Maybe it is Darnell Mooney. It's probably Mooney, unless Higbee was out or we knew for sure that Higbee hand wasn't going to catch passes, then we can go to Everett. But if he's playing, I think we go right to Mooney. He's out there a lot. I wish I could get to the kicker level. That would be my preference in cash. In 150 lines on DraftKings, how many chances would I take on a Rams running back and captain? Not a ton. These are 5 to maybe 10%. And I might mix it up, maybe 10 to 15%, even between Brown and Henderson Jr. It's gross. I'm telling you, I don't think that the winner of any of this is gonna. I don't think we're gonna get 20-point plays. All right, so everybody, we want to talk. We want to talk rules. I'm gonna first tell you a rule I'm not making. Normally, I make a rule: no kicker, no two kickers in the same lineup. I'm not making that rule. I'm not making it. Because I actually think one of these crapola low-scoring games, kickers could be a big part of it, especially if Chicago is very, very competitive defensively. We could just get a lot of stall drives and a lot of field goals. Alex is asking about both QBs. Yes, this kind of game, it definitely makes sense to do two QBs. And again, I've already said I'm kind of favoring. Listen, Allen Robinson's a great play. Normally, I like to play him every week, but Jalen Ramsey is a guy that I like to hide from also. So I feel a little nervous about the Allen Robinson play, which is why I'm comfortable with two quarterbacks, because at that point, I don't know who the other guys are that might catch passes. And I figure, why even risk it? Let's just play Foles, as crappy as Foles is. Let's play Foles. Definitely want to play Goff. Again, Goff's not that good, but he's better at home. Is that my balance? What are you looking at, man? Oh, that's my... Wait, let me put my DraftKings one up there. It's more impressive. It's more impressive. I play less on FanDuel than on DraftKings. I'll openly admit that. A lot less on FanDuel. Yes, these are my accounts. I don't... Whose balance would it be? Whose balance would it be? I'm not able to show someone else's account. They'll kick me off. All right. So... where was I? Captains. On FanDuel, it's like Goff. Goff is your best guy, but you could take a shot with Montgomery, Henderson. Any of these running backs can do it. So it would be Montgomery, Henderson, Brown for me. after Goff. Montgomery, Henderson, Brown, Goff, then Foles. And that's it. I did not play Lockett last night. I don't play wide receivers as MVP on FanDuel ever. Now, I accept that every once in a while I'm going to lose because of that, but I think I'll win more often than not for not doing that. So that's just my approach to it. I'm not telling anybody else what they should do. I'm just saying what I've done and the way I do it. I never really play wide receivers as MVPs on FanDuel. Just like I almost never play quarterbacks as captain on DraftKings. That's how I do it. I spread it out, diversify a little bit. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. Tools, we did the prop finder. Let's take a look at Brown. What's Brown going to do for you? Let's see. Let's see what Malcolm Brown is doing here. Did we take a look at Brown? Over 25 yards rushing, receptions made. This is just an incorrect fucking stat, by the way. Get on DraftKings and go bet the under. This should be receiving yards, but this says receptions made. Hold up. Go check on DraftKings. If they made a mistake, you could fucking bet this. Score a touchdown. Like, if this is correct, and DraftKings actually says receptions made, this is supposed to be receiving yards. Score a touchdown, plus 150, plus 230. Give him 35%. He's got Donald Trump wins the election odds of scoring a touchdown. It's the same odds. About 33%. I'll learn how to read these real quick. By the way, not Andre Miller. Yeah, Miller, yes. Miller, we talked about Miller. I like Miller. I don't love Miller, but I like Miller. And I like Miller a little bit more because I think that Jalen Ramsey on Allen Robinson is going to force them to throw to other people. That's why I like Miller. Miller and Darnell Mooney. But Darnell Mooney, we've never seen him have a good game. Miller's out there almost as much as Mooney. Almost as much. And he's a quarter of the price. Definitely play Miller. Have more Miller than the market says. On DFS Army, on the domination station, guys, here's all my rules from last night. I went nuts. On the domination station, what game is this? Oh, of course. Hold on. On the domination station, you get ownership projections. So one of the great things about using this tool is when you go to the captain spot, you could see what the ownership projections are. Look at this. This is FanDuel. This is DraftKings. All right. So on DraftKings, Goff, Al Robinson, Woods, they're all going to be about the same. No one knows what the fuck to do. That's what this means. 16%, Foles 12%. Oh, here we go. Cole Kmet. Okay. I'm not going to... he's a turd. You know what these three guys are? I think Miller is less of a turd than Cole Kmet. I think that's an error on the prop. Alex, you ran to fucking bet that, right? Like, if that was true, and this has to be receiving yardage. This is just an error. If that was true, let's all fucking bet our whole house on this. And then DraftKings would cancel anybody. They'd be like, that was an error. You don't get to take that. Where was I? Domination station. Everybody's about the same on DraftKings. Look, they're just spreading out ownership. If you have a strong lean and you can go heavy on one guy, you can get a lot of edge on the field. Play some Rams defense. By the way, if Rams defense is only going to be 0.62% owned, I'm begging, play some Rams fucking defense, both in the captain and the flex. I don't love playing defenses. I really don't. But we saw Kansas City yesterday put up 26 points. I guarantee you nobody on this fucking team is putting up 26 in this game. If the defense has a big day, they could win. They could win you the tournament. How do you set up a 4-2? You're going to give me difficult questions. Brandon, we do not have an easy method to do this. We just don't. So what Brandon is asking about, guys, for those of you who don't know, our observation in looking at showdown winners on DraftKings this season has shown that the most common format for a winner has been a 4-2 lineup, meaning 4 players from one team, 2 players from another team. By the way, Brandon, this could be a 5-1 day. 5-1 wins about 17% of the time. 4-2 wins about 48% of the time, and then 3-3 wins about something like some 35% of the time, right? So they all kind of level out to a total of 100. But the field enters 3-3 lineups at like a 60% rate. So the field is way overvaluing 3-3 versus 4-2. That's what Brandon's talking about there. And it's way overvaluing all of that versus 5-1, which really works out. But unfortunately, I don't have a method for definitely causing the lineups to be 4-2 just yet. But knowing that knowledge, it has given me the idea that we're going to think about maybe allowing people to force those type of stacks. But again, you don't want to go 100% 4-2. So that's the part that I need to really kind of mentally get my brain wrapped around. Yes, in the 5-1s, games like this can go 5-1, where one team, like the Jets, are playing a good team, and the Jets just get smashed in like one wide receiver. Jameson Crowder has a decent day, but everybody else from the other team goes off. 5-1 wins about 17% of the time, and those are usually smash games. And it's almost always, from our observation, it's almost always a very heavy favorite. So when you like the instances where a heavy underdog was a 1 in 5-1, it was like 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 100, or some 1% of the time. But heavy favorites favored by more than like 8 or 9 points, 5-1 occurred a lot. And overall, 5-1 winners were about 17% of the time. Again, you can be contrarian like that, but know that those things normally favor the favorite. When the underdog is doing that, it's usually the 3-3. But yeah, it's fine to definitely not 5-1. Do not do 5-1. Wait. Let me answer this one. Should we go 5-1 favoring Chicago even for the favorite? Let me ask the turd detector what it has to say. I don't know.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Listen.
It's a no. Don't do a 5-1 Chicago, but you could do a 5-1 Rams. I don't know what to do with this other than I'm very happy to nickname the kicker the Sausage King. For now on, Sam Sloan will heretofore be known as the Sausage King of Chicago. Bears kicker. Actually, I think it's the Rams kicker, but whatever. I'm not even going to mess with that. All right, guys, that's about it for the showdown breakdown. For rules on the Dom Station, basically, I'm going to stick to a very, 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 very basic set of rules. If Jared Goff is captain MVP, no less than one of Woods, Cooper Kupp, Reynolds. I didn't mention Reynolds, but he is the clear number 3 guy. Again, Van Jefferson has fallen off. Reynolds is definitely playable. We can go Everett and Higbee. We're going to do a no less than one of. If you want to do no less than 2 of, that's fine. I feel like if it's DraftKings, I'll probably do no less than 2. If it's DraftKings, I'm going no less than 2. If it's FanDuel, I'm going no less than 1 because FanDuel has fewer spots, and it's just how it is. DraftKings for the quarterback to outscore all those wide receivers. More than one wide receiver really needs to do some damage. So DraftKings, it'd be no less than 2. Is this DraftKings or FanDuel I have open? DraftKings, we're going to do no less than 2 for Jared Goff. Add the rule. For Nick Foles, if you want to have a death wish and use this guy as your captain. Oh my God. Hold on one second, guys. Cat is going crazy. She does not care if I'm in the middle of a live stream at all. Foles, if you're crazy enough to use him, definitely a no less than 2 of, and we need Allen Robinson and one other. Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet, all this fucking garbage. I don't is he on this team? I don't even know. Cole Kmet, Miller. Who's this other dude? Mooney. And I'm going to include, because he catches passes, Montgomery. So your rule for DraftKings, either these guys, you go like that, right? If I'm using a wide receiver like Woods, I want no less than one of Goff. I'm doing Cooper Kupp. I want to point out at 17% of the time, a wide receiver at the captain spot does not drag their quarterback along with them in the flex, but I'm making an exception here because I think it's so low scoring and because salaries are so affordable that I will do that in this one. Yes, you can include Brown in that one. You are correct. Definitely, you can include Brown as a pass catcher. Any single entry tips? It just don't. I think you got to play it safe. You put Goff. You keep the running backs in there, just like a cash game. You definitely play Montgomery. You definitely play Goff. I think I get Cooper Kupp in there. Maybe a kicker. Maybe a Rams defense. Some shit like that. Maybe don't play single entry. This is a really gross one for that. Yeah. The cat had his own turd alert. The cat wakes up during my podcast. She sleeps in the closet in here. She gets up. She doesn't give a shit that my door's closed, that I'm, the studio is in business here. She just needs to have a turd alert of her own. Luckily, my mic doesn't pick up on the cat screams, but it's pretty crazy. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the Showdown breakdown. For anybody who's watching this, I made it public today, the rare public podcast from the Geek. You don't get too many of these. If you're watching this, check out DFS Army. It might, maybe it'll help improve your game. I think a lot of the guys who are watching this right now in the Slack will say, we have a lot of fun. We have these fun time podcasts all the time, these live streams, but we also really present a lot of knowledge, have awesome tools. I don't think there's any place like DFS Army. So, go check out every other place first. Please do. That usually people find us last and they're like, holy shit, this is so much better than everything else out there. Why are you guys like this awesome? And I'm like, I don't know. It's how we roll. It's how we roll. 2 tight ends. Yes, I want to mention this. Where's the blue moon? It's Monday. I got a lot of work to do. Blue moon's for later. Sunday afternoon, I have the blue moon. Monday is work day. All right. Best to leave cat. I believe that the winning lineup on DraftKings, let me get this point in. This is very, very important. And FanDuel, but definitely DraftKings is going to leave a shitload of money on the table this week. So I would even, if you're making Dom Station, you might even set it to a max of 59.50. I don't even want to make 60K lineups. I might go or 49.50 as a max here. 49.50. Yeah, as a max. Might do something like that. Leave a little salary on the table. This is one, you don't need to pay up for the studs. They're not that good. So leave a little salary. And again, make a decision what you want to do with Allen Robinson because, again, Allen Robinson's the best individual play on the slate from a overall point of view, target share of his team. But he's being covered by Jalen Ramsey. I don't like to fuck with that. He's also going to be very high owned. And so when you look at ownership and you say, hey, what if I fade Mr. 47% owned? Can I get an edge on the field that way? You could if it works. Don Ramo, you got to watch my specific Dom Station tutorials. This is a breakdown of the slate. I have Dom Station tutorials where I get down into the dirty of how to set it up for each slate. Like I've done it almost every week this season. Just watch any of those. I wasn't planning on one for this slate because I hate this slate and I don't want to make 150 lineups for myself. I'm riding high, won 32K yesterday. Don't like this slate. Don't like this game very much. I'll play a few lineups, but I don't want to like go bananas and really have to like just pick through all this turdness. I don't like it. So I wasn't planning on MME in it. But maybe the Thursday game I probably will, and I'll probably do a video for that. Yeah, do the back test. I mean, it takes practice for sure. By the way, if you guys are using the Dom Station for the first time, just a separate note again, or early, don't enter $5, $10 contest. Enter the nickel game. Enter like the quarter game or some shit. Like, don't put a lot of money on it. Learn how to use the tools. Prove that you can win. And then up your entry. Don't up your entry to see if you can win. Prove that you can win before you up your entry. That's like the thing that fucks most people up. They come into DFSR, they come into a site, they get a tool and think, all right, let me enter, I'm paying $49.99 a month for a subscription, which is nothing, by the way, compared to other sites. I will say this again, DFS Army subscription, we charge half of what similar sites, and to say similar, they're not as good, but we charge half of them. And I do that because I want to keep this open to everybody. I want to allow regular Joes to compete with pros. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what we do. So I don't double the price like every other site out there. And those sites suck. Trust me, I know. Yeah, that's right. The edge is leaving salary on the table. It's not even just 90%. That number is high, and I don't agree with it's 90% spending the whole salary. But here's what happens. Those 60K lineups are duplicated like 100, 150 times in every contest. So every time you I don't know what you're saying. I don't even know what that is, but I'm not saying anything. I don't talk about any other sites. But here's the deal. I just say we're the best. Other sites, they ain't that good. Do you play Cam Makers tonight? I don't think I'm going to do it, but like if you play him, you're going to be very unique. I'm probably not going to play him because I don't like the guy. He's not getting any touches. I don't like to speculate that by some miracle, we have no knowledge that they will play him more. So if it were to happen, it would just be the most random thing ever. So I don't have any special knowledge about that. So I don't want to play him, but like he only got like what? He didn't even get targets. They're not throwing to him, so I don't like him. I don't like Akers. They're not throwing to him anyway. He's supposed to be a pass catcher. I don't know what's up with that. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the Where My Turds At breakdown. Good luck tonight. I'm going to play. I'll be around. I'm going to play it. I don't think I'm maxing this one out. I might max it out on FanDuel. You know, I usually break down and end up doing it. Well, I'll definitely make a couple lineups. I might do it on FanDuel because I do think we can hone in on just 2 or 3 different captains, which gives me a small enough captain MVP pool that I think I can, make some good lineups built around that. So I probably will do it on FanDuel in the end of the day because I usually break down and do. But we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Good luck tonight. Let's keep the winning going. Helmets up, helmet after helmet. And if you're playing the 2-game slate, focus on players from Thursday. I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know who's playing on Thursday, but it's got to be better than this. Or is it? Who's playing on Thursday? Well, let's take a look. Who's playing on Thursday, guys? Come on. They're a 2-gamer? Oh, that's not even it. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Probably later. Yeah, Panthers, Falcons. Yeah, there we go. That's the one you want. Play the 2-game slate and fade this one. How about that? All right. Good luck, everyone. See you next time.